Hey everyone, welcome back to the Trade to Black podcast presented by Dutchie. I am your host, Shad Dales, and wow, this past week was one of the most anticipated we've seen in a long time. With rescheduling chatter picking up, Pennsylvania making a serious move towards adult use legalization, and several headlines that stirred up both markets and political energy. We're breaking it all down and what it all means for the industry, your portfolio, and the next phase of U.S. cannabis reform, potentially. So with that, let's get into it. Let's first start in Pennsylvania. Lawmakers have officially filed Senate Bill 120, a bipartisan adult use cannabis bill backed by Senators Dan Laughlin and Sharif Street. It includes private retail licensing, expungements for low-level convictions, a new cannabis control board, and a real focus on equity and reinvestment in communities harmed by prohibition. So this isn't a symbolic move, it's a full regulatory package, and industry support is strong. The Pennsylvania Cannabis Coalition is calling it a transformative step. Even Governor Josh Shapiro has said he's ready to sign a sensible bill, and insiders say January 1, 2026 could realistically be a launch date for adult use sales if this gets through. And man, would that not be incredible? Next, hemp is back in the crosshairs. The Senate Appropriations Committee advanced a bill that would ban all consumable hemp products with any quantifiable amount of THC, including non-intoxicating CBD products. Ironically, it's being pushed by Senator Mitch McConnell, who led hemp legalization back in 2018. Now he says the system needs correcting. You don't say. Implementation is delayed 1 year, but the message is clear. The unregulated hemp-derived THC market is likely on borrowed time. The industry has 12 months to prepare for major change, and it is going to face major change. It's a good thing. Next up, the Department of Justice, they dropped a sweeping indictment this week in the Northeast. 7 Chinese nationals have been charged in a multi-state cannabis trafficking and human smuggling ring, operating illegal grow houses across Massachusetts and beyond. The DOJ says the group laundered proceeds into cars, jewelry, and real estate. Over 240 pounds of cannabis and $470,000 in cash were seized. The case is part of what's called Operation Take Back America and highlights how transnational crime continues to exploit cannabis and immigration loopholes. And that is a big topic this week. Let's now shift to Kentucky, where the brand new medical cannabis program is already facing legal pressure. A group of local businesses and investors are suing the state, claiming the licensing structure is unconstitutional. Their argument that the legislature gave too much power to regulators and that some companies skirted the rules by creating multiple LLCs to land licenses. So with that, they want the program to be paused and licensing reallocated. The lawsuit has triggered an investigation by State Auditor Allison Ball, and it's added more uncertainty to a market that hasn't even launched yet, like I just said. Now let's shift to news that got a lot of people's attention this week and address the news involving Glass House Brands. So if you didn't know, this past Thursday, ICE agents reportedly visited 2 licensed cannabis farms operated by Glass House in California. The company confirms warrants were served and said it fully complied with authorities. Early reports suggest 8 minors were detained during the visit, and advocates have voiced concern about labor oversight in the legal cannabis space. So yes, the optics aren't ideal, but let's be clear, based on what we're hearing, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Glass House is expected to have more information on this and should come out just fine. So again, let's calm everybody down, and we'll have more information on this later this week once we find out some announcements potentially by Glass House Brands. So we'll keep you posted on that one. And really, if you look further into this, it appears to be more broader immigration enforcement than a cannabis-specific crackdown. Still, it's a reminder of how fragile the intersection is between federal immigration law and state legal cannabis. Let's move now to the financial front, where there was 2 major refinancing stories this week. First up, Terracin. They closed on a $79 million term loan with $68 million used to pay off prior debt and the rest set aside for growth and possible M&A. Also, Vireo Growth, they pulled off $153 million refinancing, wiping out old debt, locking in lower rates, and leaving over $100 million in cash on the balance sheet. Well done by Vireo and Terracin as well. In this case, when you put 2 and 2 together, these aren't small moves. They reflect both companies repositioning themselves ahead of what many believe could be a major shift in the federal outlook. Again, maybe. Also, there was big leadership change at Canopy Growth. Judy Hong is out as CFO, and Tom Stewart is stepping in as interim. Stewart has deep financial experience, both at Canopy and previously with Constellation Brands. CEO Luc Mongeau says Stewart is the right person to drive the company's next phase, focused on cost efficiency and long-term stability. So another move under the Luc Mongeau regime. Also this week, one company that continues to deliver is MariMed. Their flagship brand Betty's Eddies is crushing it, #1 in edibles across Massachusetts, Maryland, and Delaware. Their innovative innovating with functional mushrooms as well, their fast-acting tablets, and even zero-sugar SKUs, all without bloating overhead. Earlier this week, their chief commercial officer, Ryan Crandall, caught up with me, and he said the secret is simple. Use existing capacity wisely, stay lean, and double down on CPG-style execution. Another thing, with Delaware going live at adult use on August 1st, MariMed looks positioned to scale without overspending, so keep your eye on MariMed, and really the Delaware market. And with all this, let's now close on the biggest market driver of the week. What was that? Rescheduling rumors. Social media was lit up this week with speculation, insider commentary, and more political activity in D.C. around cannabis than we've seen in months, maybe even perhaps years. Lobbyists and reform advocates have suggested real movement behind the scenes. Also, Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams, he met with GOP congressional leaders at the White House, along with members from the Village Farms team. And multiple market watchers hinted that a Trump administration could be preparing to take on action on rescheduling or broader cannabis reform. And with that, the market definitely responded. Big gainers this week included advisory shares ETF MSOS, Cureleaf, Green Thumb Industries, Trulieve, Terracin, Verano, Jushi, and even MariMed. Big week for the overall sector. But let's be clear, rescheduling won't fix everything. It would eliminate 280E tax pressure, allow for increased research, and show investors that incremental progress is possible even in a divided Congress. And that's the key, incremental steps. Banking, tax relief, access to capital. Reform won't happen all at once, but piece by piece, we could finally be heading in the right direction, and it sure feels that way. As far as timing, don't know. So to recap everything, Pennsylvania is moving. Hemp has a 1-year countdown, and cannabis rescheduling, it's no longer just a whisper. We're watching real signals, real policy shifts in a market that's starting to wake up. It's definitely waking up. So that's it for today. Make sure you subscribe for more information and leave a comment below. Is this the week that marks the beginning of the cannabis comeback? When we look back, will this week be the one that is the turning point? Love to get your feedback, so leave some comments below. As usual, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash on that bell for all notifications. And one last thing, if you want to stay up to date on a daily basis, make sure to scan this QR code to become a daily baked-in newsletter subscriber delivered to your inbox weekdays, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. That's it for today, and like I always say, stay open-minded, stay connected, and I'll see you next time on our latest Trade to Black. I'm your host, Shad Dales. Thanks again for watching. Big week coming up, so make sure you stay close and connected. Take care, everyone.